welcome to the live stream. I don't know who's here yet. I'm trying to get this all situated, so pardon me and my singing. I had a song from the... Hey guys, welcome to the live stream. I don't know who's here. Sorry about that, guys. I'm trying to lower the top chat. See something? Okay. Here we go. Let's not have this going at the same time. We're going to get that off. Okay. Okay, guys. My hair. Welcome to the show. We're going to be talking all about anxiety today. So I'm doing the show a little bit different. Normally I do everything on Zoom, but I'm going to be changing my format. I'm going to, in the future, be doing 2 shows a week. One of them is going to be my usual Monday night show, which will be doing via YouTube, like normal. And it's going to be all sorts of fun topics, games, everything like that. I'm going to be also doing once a week a Zoom show, which is going to be like a master class, like a very, in-depth, real strong class about a certain subject, whether it's psychic development or finding your spirit guide or whatever it's going to be. And that is going to be something different. I'm going to be doing that exclusively on Zoom. Now, the shows that I'm going to be doing on YouTube are going to be, you can watch them whenever you want to. If you miss the show, it will be on YouTube forever, so you don't have to worry about it. It is just easy peasy lemon squeezy. Watch it whenever you want to. The shows on Zoom are going to be a one-time event. You either going to be there or you're not going to be there. And you're going to have to sign up to my mailing list to get an invite and get a special link. It's going to be an exclusive party. So I'm not starting that yet, but that is going to be in the future. And that is going to be my master class. That is going to be when you want to learn serious business about psychic stuff and about life. So I'm in the midst of setting that up right now. So I'm just going to look down at my phone real quick because I want to go on YouTube. So here's what I want to say to you guys. If you're watching this right now, please share this link. Do me a favor. Sometimes people have a hard time finding the show. So if you could do me a favor and share the link on Facebook, Twitter, whatever, it would make a huge difference and would help me out a ton. And so I just want to ask you to do that. I am filming in Zoom right now, because it was just easier for me. So I want to say welcome to Jennifer Esquire. I want to say welcome to Kathy. Thank you for saying I have a nice blouse. So I will be answering comments in YouTube. If you somehow find me on Zoom, which I didn't share a link, so if you guys find me on Zoom, you are detective extraordinaires, and welcome and hi, how are you doing? I don't think anybody's here. It's just me on my own. I decided to do this through Zoom, even though I'm doing it, really just on YouTube. I decided to do it through Zoom because it was honestly easier for me to set it up this way. I totally forgot how to do live streams on YouTube, so that's bad on me. So I'm just getting up my notes real quick. I'm just getting up my notes real quick, trying to find them on my phone, because this week we're going to be talking all about anxiety. And okay, here we go. Okay, so every week I get inspired to do a show. Sometimes I get inspired because of you guys and different things that you're going through. It really triggers and inspires me. And sometimes I get inspired by a TV show or current world events or something like that, planetary. But this week I got inspired by myself. I was feeling anxiety about, a lot of different things in my life. I'm making changes, I'm starting new projects, and I just was feeling a little anxiety about that. So I thought, you know what, let me do a show about anxiety. So I thought that would be a fun topic, and I think that it's something that, it's covered a lot. There's a lot of different articles and stuff about anxiety, but I think we can always shed a little bit more light on it. Anxiety is something that we all face in our lives to varying degrees. Sometimes you deal with it more than others, and so I thought it would be a really fun thing to do, to talk about it, to kind of give some tips and some ideas, and let this be a safe place for everybody who wants to talk. So I'm just going to look through my notes real quick because I jotted this down because I want this class to be nice and organized and professional. So what is anxiety? Anxiety is a feeling of nervousness or dis-ease or a feeling of worry. This is something that we are hardwired for because of in primitive times when we saw a dinosaur or a saber-toothed tiger or whatever, we always felt in threat and nervous. So that anxiety kept us alert. It kept us safe. And anxiety does help us now. If you're walking down a dark alley, you're going to have that anxiety, and that will keep you alert. That will keep you safe. So anxiety isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's only bad when we let it get the best of us and we let it take over our life, which it tends to for all of us from time to time. I myself have anxiety. I have anxiety before each show I do. I get a little bit of stage fright, believe it or not. I get a little bit of stage fright. I wonder, do I look okay? Is this show going to go okay? Are people going to like it? Are people going to show up? Are they going to enjoy? Are they going to learn something? You know, I experience that every week. So I think that we all have that anxious feeling from time to time. So when you think about anxiety, there's physical symptoms that go along with the anxiety, and that's, a sense of uneasiness, fear. You can have sleep problems, and if you're having, I actually did a show all about this where you can't sleep, and I forget what it's called. It begins with an A. Brain, work for me, please. But we have that from time to time. I did a whole show about it, and so not being able to stay calm and relaxed, getting cold and sweaty, shortness of breath, heart palpitations, dry mouth, nausea, tense muscles, dizziness. These are all symptoms of anxiety. So the first thing that I want to talk to you guys about is in your daily life, before the anxiety ever happens, before you get that trigger, get into a good practice of prevention. If you know that you're going to be prone to anxiety, if you know that you get triggered easily by certain things, do certain things to help that. And this will also help with insomnia. It doesn't begin with an A, it begins with an I. Insomnia. That's why I couldn't remember the name. These things also help with insomnia if you're suffering from that as well. So things like get regular exercise. Exercise is great for your body. Not only does it keep you in good physical shape, but exercise is so good about boosting endorphins and just really making you feel good. And I've been doing this thing lately where every day I try to do something physical. Nothing too intensive. I'm not jogging 6 miles or anything, but like if I can just do 25 squats, or I can do some twists, or I can do jumping jacks, just something to get my body going. Even if it's just dancing around your house while you're doing the dishes, getting your body moving is great. It raises those healthy, joy-releasing endorphins, and it really makes a difference. And it's also going to help you with sleeping. It's really important to get a good amount of sleep. The more your body is able to rest, the more it's going to have time to unwind and process, the more you're going to be able to make cohesive, cogent decisions throughout the day. So that's hugely important. So make sure that you're getting a good amount of sleep. If you're not, it could be because of anxiety. I did a whole show about that. I will link it below after the show so you can check that out. It's on this channel. So another thing is try to eat healthy. A lot of times foods with chemicals and artificial dyes can actually exacerbate anxiety. High sugar, high caffeine, high alcohol content. These things can also really agitate and aggravate anxiety. A lot of people like to have a glass of wine or a drink, and it helps them relax. And a drink here or there is not a bad thing. But if you're drinking a lot, that can really dehydrate the body. It's a depressant. It's going to make you more prone to being anxious, nervous, depressed. It's just not a good thing. Caffeine is another thing. Too much caffeine, and I love me some coffee. Too much caffeine is not a good thing either, because caffeine is a stimulant. So if you're already anxious and then you have caffeine on top of it, you're going to be like this. You're going to be like a little hummingbird going all over the place. It's not a good mix. So try to avoid those things. Also drink lots of water. Our bodies are mostly comprised of water, or I wouldn't say mostly, but a big majority is comprised of water. So you have to keep yourself hydrated. The more you drink water, it's really good for your body. It's so good for cleansing. It's so good for just keeping things lubricated, going the way that they need to be going, making you feel good, making you feel energized. I know that we all don't always like to drink the water, and we like to go for coffee or tea or drinks or sugary stuff or soda, myself included sometimes. It is really important to get that water in, because it does help your body stay more balanced. And the more hydrated and balanced you are, the more healthy and good you're going to feel. Also, sipping on a glass of water is really relaxing. I know that it may not seem so, but if you're just taking your time and sipping this water and just enjoying the sips, whether you put ice in it or have it warm or however you want to have it, it really is a relaxing thing to just sit there and take this water and know that you're doing something really good for your body. Know that you're taking care of yourself. So I'm just going to take a second and see if anybody wrote to me on YouTube and said anything. Nope, nobody said nothing. Nobody likes me. And while I'm doing that, I'm also going to take a sip of my herbal tea. Herbal tea is really good. If you want to drink something hot and you want to drink something that's going to help you relax and help you feel good, herbal tea is great because it doesn't have any caffeine, has lots of soothing properties, and it will just make you feel a lot better. That is so good. I'm having raspberry tea. Oh, raspberry is my favorite. I always like teas that are floral and fruity. I always feel like that's what fairies drink, and I want to be a fairy. So we're going to also talk about different things that you can do to kind of, I'm so sorry, I'm just trying to read my notes. So the next thing that I want to talk about is when you have a task to do, this isn't still, we're preventing, this is the preventative part of the program. When you have a big task to do, whether it's cleaning your room or have a big essay or something, a big report that's due for work, any project can stress you out, especially if you look at it like this great big thing that you have to do. So if you break it down in bite-sized pieces, it makes it a lot easier. Sometimes it's hard to just take that first step. Take that first step out the door. And once you take that step, you build momentum and it gets easier and easier. So if you break any project you're doing into small bite-sized pieces and you just focus on tackling that one piece, it makes it so much easier. Don't overwhelm yourself with everything. Just focus on one thing. So for an example, if you have to clean your house and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to clean my house, it's a total dump, where do I start? Find one area to start with. Like just start with maybe taking out the garbage, or just start with maybe washing the dishes, or just start with putting some laundry in to do a load. Get yourself going in one direction and just go from one thing to the next, and then soon everything will be nice and clean and tidy, and you'll feel a lot better about that. So also another good thing to do is if you're feeling anxious, and I do this a lot when I feel anxious about something, is try to write it down, try to make a list. Sometimes if I'm trying to figure out, like say planning for a show or planning just my career, different things that I want to do, different projects I want to work on, I find that writing a to-do list helps a lot. Even if I'm trying to organize for a trip or anything, having that list so that you don't have to keep all this going in your brain and you don't have to have that added responsibility on you. You could have it on a piece of paper, you can write things down, you could organize. Personally, it's a little bit easier to do this on your phone because a lot of times when I make lists, I then want to reorganize the list. So if I have it on a computer or a phone, it helps me to be able to cut and paste and move things around. That helps. Sometimes my mind can be a bit disorganized when I'm first jotting things down. And so that's a little bit harder to do with pen and paper. But you have to find the method that's going to work best for you. But make things bite-sized and write down lists. Another thing that's very key when it comes to anxiety is communication. Now, we all have anxiety about different things. And it's important that you let the people around you know what some of your triggers are, because you'll be able to avoid things if you let them know. So for me, for example, I do not like surprises. I've never liked surprises. Surprises just freak me out. I've never liked them ever. So every single friend that I know knows that I do not like surprises. It is one of the first things I tell them. It's like, oh, you want to be friends with me? Okay, here's the deal. Bring me coffee, tell me I'm pretty, and I don't like surprises. That is like my go-to. So it's really important to communicate your triggers. Maybe your trigger is you don't like certain materials or the feel of certain things, or maybe your trigger is you don't like to be scared. I'm very juvenile. And sometimes I will try to like scare my friends. Like I'll hide behind a corner and I'll pop out and I'll be like, boom. And it's just a fun thing that I like to do. Some people might get totally freaked out by that. If you have PSTD or if you have, any kind of anxiety, that might be too much for you. So let people in your life know, like, okay, these are my limits. These are my triggers. These are the things that will set me off. So please don't do these things to me. And it helps a lot. It helps to avoid those issues. Another thing is, Be honest with yourself. It's really important for you to know yourself and know your triggers, know what stresses you out. So it's important that you have that internal dialogue for yourself and understand that, okay, I really don't like to go to bars. It's not my thing. It makes me stressed out. I don't like it. I don't want to do it. And if somebody invites me to a bar, I know that it's going to stress me out. I don't want to go there. Or I really don't like to wear short skirts. That's just not my thing. It's going to stress me out. It's not my comfort zone. Whatever it is, let people know that are around you so that they can kind of understand and that they're not going to be constantly triggering you without you realizing, without them realizing it. And you're just going to go into a full-on panic. So it's important to communicate that stuff and know yourself, know your own triggers, know what's going to bother you, know what's going to stress you out. Those things are super important as well. And another thing is, and I talked about this in another show I did about boundaries. All these shows are on this channel, so enjoy. But I did a show all about how to have healthy boundaries, which are really important. Sometimes you can get anxious because you don't know how to set limitations and boundaries. You don't know how to say no to somebody. You're either afraid that they're going to get mad at you, or that they're going to reject you, or that you're going to disappoint them or upset them in some way. So you tend to take on way more than you should because you're so focused on wanting to please them that you cause anxiousness and stress for yourself. And so it's really important to learn how to say no, and that saying no is okay, and that you're allowed to say no. You're allowed to honor yourself. You have to protect yourself. You have to honor yourself. You have to understand yourself. And so those things are really important. I'm just checking to see. Yes, Jen, you are correct. Thank you so much for pointing that out. I really appreciate that. It's how to deal with panic attacks, easy tips. I think I do have that linked below in the description bar, but if I don't, I will definitely make sure. But all these shows are on my channel. So this top is a little bit big on me, and I'm worried a little bit about giving you guys a peep show. So I'm just hoping that that doesn't happen. Cross our fingers. Okay, so I want to talk to you guys about in the moment. It's that moment you're feeling stressed, that panic, stressy moment. So I want to talk to you guys about that after I take a sip of my tea. I love the expression like spilling tea, like when you're going to say some really gossip or throw some shade. It's like, I'm sipping tea. I'm spilling some tea on this situation. I just think it sounds funny. Imagine a bunch of like women at a tea party gossiping. It's funny how slang happens. So let's talk about, you're in that moment. I'm just reading my notes so I don't forget anything because I'm notorious for forgetting things. Okay. Okay. So when you're feeling that sense of like a panic. Now, I'm not talking about when you're in full-on panic attack mode. I'm talking about the very beginning. We all get those physical sensations when we start to panic. You could start sweating. You could feel hot. You could feel the palpitations. You could feel anxious or fidgety. You could start breathing a little heavily or breathing differently. You know, you always have some kind of a trigger. For me, I get stomach problems. Whenever I'm anxious or stressed, I always feel it in my stomach. And I always start to get that like twingy feeling, or sometimes it's a tense feeling, sometimes it's a nauseous feeling, but it always happens in my stomach, and that's where I feel the anxiousness. And I know that when that's happening, I'm anxious about something. So try to understand and honor your triggers. Your body is helping you. You may feel like, oh, why am I freaking out? Why is my heart going like this? Why is this happening? But your body is trying to tell you something. And it's important to listen and honor and respect your body. Understand that whatever is going on, you're feeling panicked. So stop, acknowledge it, okay? Feeling panicky, feeling stressed, feeling anxious, what's going on? Do a self-check-in. What are you anxious about? What triggered you? Was it a guy talking to you? Did you find out some upsetting news? Did you find out that you have to do some kind of report or something? But whatever it is, there's something triggering you. So honor that moment. Say, okay, I'm feeling panicked. I'm feeling panicked because I have this report to do. I just found out that it was due in 2 days instead of 5 days. And now I'm freaking out a little bit. So I'm panicked. I'm really worried about this. So this is the time that you can slow down. Just take a moment and sit down. Try to, once you acknowledge where the trigger is and acknowledge what's happened, take a moment, slow down. just breathe. Just breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Then what you want to do is, if this helps you, this may or may not count to 10. This can often help you. If that doesn't help you, another thing that you can do is the rule of fives. And I find this really helpful. And it's locate 5 things in your eye line. So I'm going to do it right now. We're going to do it together. I'll teach you guys how to do it. So locate 5 things in your eye line: my camera, my umbrella, my ring light, my laptop, my microphone, and my phone. Then 5 things that you can touch. They can be the same or different. It doesn't really matter. My napkin, my other phone, my blouse, my hair, my teacup, my pants. Then you want to do 5 sounds you can hear. It's quiet as a tomb in here, so I can't hear anything. But if you can't hear anything, that's okay. You can either just try to listen for a few seconds, or you can just move on from that. Then you go into 5 smells that you like. Now, you can do 5 things you smell right then and there, but you may not be able to smell anything, and it's about being calm. So go into 5 smells that you like. So coffee, fresh rain, jasmine, vanilla, things like that. Go into the 5 things that you like the way that they smell. And after you do that, it will help you feel more calm. A lot of times when you're panicky or stressed out, taking your mind off of what you're stressed out about will help you. There's tons of different apps on your phone that are great for stuff like this, where they can kind of help you ease yourself out of a panic attack. There are tons of different apps that you guys can find on your phone that are really good with this kind of thing. You can do brain games. You can play Tetris. You can do also, if it doesn't stimulate you too much. Sometimes if you're anxious, you can't take that kind of stimulation, and just breathe. That's good too. Another thing you can do is go for a walk. Sometimes getting out into nature, even if it's just in your backyard, even if you just step out of your front door for a few seconds and sit on your stoop. But get in nature, try to breathe it in, look at the sky, look at the trees, just take that in for a moment. Blow bubbles, that's another one. I have a whole list of different things you can do to counteract anxiety. I have a list linked below, so you guys can check that out. It's like 22 different things you can do. Blowing bubbles was one of those things, which I thought was really fun. Another thing that you can do is go for a walk. You can draw, you can doodle, you can write, you can do anything like that. You need to kind of just get yourself out of that. Take a break from whatever you're stressing about. Give yourself permission to take that break for a few minutes, just to kind of get yourself out of that panicky zone and get yourself to a calm point. Once you get to a calm point, then you can go back and you could start planning. Like I said, break it, whatever you have to do, break it down into small pieces. If you're feeling triggered because somebody did something to you, explain to them, like, okay, this is making me anxious. I really don't like the idea of doing this public speaking. I'd rather not. Talk to them about it. Go into the other preventative methods. Drink some water. That's another good one. Do some exercise. Another thing I also did a show about chakras, and getting into balancing your chakras, doing a chakra meditation. There's tons of videos on YouTube about chakra meditations, binaural beats that are good for relaxation. Find something that feels good or feels right to you. Aromatherapy. There's a bajillion ways out there to exercise your anxiety demons, to get rid of the anxiety and to help calm yourself down. So I'm just going to check real quick and see if anybody wrote anything. I don't think anybody did. This is a very slow group. I don't know how many people are here. It says only 2 people are watching, so it's a pretty low show. But hopefully everybody that gets to watch after the fact, you guys will enjoy this information. So the next thing that I would talk to you guys about is panic attacks. And I did do a video all about panic attacks, so I'm not going to go into it too much, but I'm just going to say, I got a weird message on my thing. I'm just going to say this. If you are having a panic attack, it's really important that you understand that a panic attack is kind of like a wave, a sound wave, whatever kind of wave you want to think of, a wave that crashes on the sand. It has an energy, it has a momentum, and it has a cycle. So if you're at the point where you're actually having a panic attack, it's best to just let that panic attack happen. This may not be convenient for you. This may not be at the perfect time, but it's much easier to allow the panic attack to happen than to try to suppress it. Because this momentum is already going, If you try to suppress it, it's just going to create more friction and more resistance, and it's going to make it worse. It's like trying to stop a locomotive. It's more important to just allow your body to experience it. Even if it feels scary, even if you feel like your heart's going to beat out of your chest, even if you feel like you can't breathe, the more you just kind of surrender to it, the easier it will be, the more quick it will be, and the less intense it will be. So if you're in that mode of having a panic attack, I know they can feel scary. I've had them myself. It's a scary situation. Try to give yourself permission to just experience it. If you're with somebody, let them know. Let them know what's going on. Be honest with them, because they can help you. They can get you water. They can form a little shield around you if you're in public. They can watch over you. They can make sure you're okay. They can help guide you through. Allow people to be part of that process. You may feel embarrassed about that. You may feel insecure about that. But the truth is, everybody understands anxiety and everybody goes through this stuff. And the more you kind of just allow your body to have that moment and have that situation, the easier it will be, the less intense it will be, and the worse you're going to, I'm saying, the less horrible you're going to feel afterwards. That's what I'm trying to say. So it will be much less worse. That's what I'm trying to say, after the fact. And if you allow your body to have that reaction, they'll become less intense and less long in length, and you'll have them less frequently as well. So just, that's really important. I did want to touch on that in this because we're talking about anxiety. So I want to ask you guys real quick while I sip my tea. Do you guys have any questions about anxiety? Is there anything that you feel I haven't covered? Is there any questions that you want to ask at all? And also I want to ask you guys if you have any questions about anything else, any other topics or any psychic information that you wanted. You could also ask that now. So I know that dealing with anxiety can sometimes feel overwhelming. Sometimes it makes you feel like you're all alone and you're isolated. It's not an easy situation to deal with. But, you know, it's important to understand that you're not alone. We all deal with anxiety. Different levels of anxiety, different intensities of anxiety, but we all have it. So you're going to get a lot more empathy and understanding and support if you share and if you're open and honest about it. And if you're honest with yourself, if you understand yourself how you feel about it. So it's really important to have that relationship not only with other people, but with yourself as well, and understand that you'll get through this. Even if you're feeling the most intense panic attack, you will get through it. It will not last forever. No matter what anxiety you're feeling right now, no matter what problem you're facing, you'll get past it. It will get better. You'll come out the other side. The sun always comes out after the storm. So I'm just going to check and see if anybody wrote anything. I don't think that they did. This might be a very short show because if we don't have that many people here, nobody's really communicating, then we might have a short show this week. And that's okay. Maybe that's just what this was supposed to be. Maybe this doesn't need to be an hour-long show. So I want to ask you guys real quick to, if you don't have any other questions, we'll play a game. Since there's only 2 people on here, we'll just play this once. And we'll play a little psychic game and see who is going to win. I'll give you guys a chance to, where is it? I downloaded something so we can play a game. Did I do it on this phone? Or did I do it on my other phone? I'm sorry, you guys. This is very unprofessional. I have this settled and then, oh, there it is. Okay. I apologize. Okay, so I have this app on my phone and it rolls dice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll the dice, and whoever guesses the right number first gets free 10-minute reading. So are you ready? I'm going to roll now, and then I'm going to try to send that to you. So we're tapping. Ooh, okay. I'm looking at the dice right now. All right, I'm gonna go back to YouTube. And whoever liked the video, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I'll give a few seconds for somebody to guess. And if they don't guess, then I will reveal the answer. And if you're watching this after the fact at a later date, why don't you guess now too? Playing fun games like this is a great way to develop your psychic abilities and your psychic skills. It's really fun when you're doing anything, whether you're learning how to play the piano or learning how to develop your psychic skills. It's important to have a fun attitude about it and not put pressure on yourself, and make it light and make it airy and make it enjoyable. So I'm just going to check one more time, and then I'm going to reveal who the winner, or not the winner, but what the winning number was. Okay, well, nobody's guessing, so I'm just going to say that it was number 3. That was the number. So I think that the dice is a fun way to do this without me having to draw or anything. I think that it's just a fun, quick way to do this. I think that we'll use those dice in the future for other shows as well. I guess I'm just going to end the show now. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. And for those of you in the future who tune in, I hope this show is really helpful. If you guys enjoyed this show, please do me a favor and give me a thumbs up, as well as subscribe to this channel and hit the bell so you don't miss out on future videos. Also, do me a favor, and if you know anybody in your life who has anxiety and stress, please share this show with them and let them know these tips and tricks to help them and make them feel less alone and less stressed out. I hope that you guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you guys soon. Take care. Bye.